Greetings, greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to earGROUND Voices Amplified. My name is Pep. Welcome to the program that gives you some of the amazing voices from the motherland, Zimbabwe. Today I'll be speaking to an artist who's not living in Zimbabwe, but is making a lot of great music. He's based in the US. His name is ISHහැ. But before we talk much, I'm just going to play a snippet of his video and then we get into the conversation. So stay tuned.
I'm hanging off this ledge, yeah, I'm hanging. Standing down to make sense, to get to you, confirmations. Where I was before I lost all that I wanted, a new path unchosen. Now that I'm here, I'm sure you're the cure to the broken pieces I've been hoping. That's why I can't lose you now. You're the one for me now. As soon as you
Welcome to earGROUND. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. You just saw the snippet. ISHහැ, welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Plot. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm great. It's an honor to have you on the program. You're making some awesome music. I bumped into your video one day and I said to myself, this is world class. But most of our visitors, our viewers would want to know who's ISHහැ.
Mm-hmm. Who is ISHහැ? You know, that's a tough question. He's many things. Above all, he's an artist. I say that. He's an artist that loves his country, loves Zimbabwe, and loves music. I think the biggest thing for him is creating timeless music that people can fall in love to, can grow to, can understand things. But even more so, I think ISHහැ is a vessel, you know. He's a vessel as in anything, you know. The music doesn't come from me. It doesn't come from the world, you know. For me, it comes from a muse, and that muse for me is God, you know. So for me, ISHහැ is simply just someone. He's a vessel that God talks through, spreading His message. And I mean, that's a message of love. That's a message of unity. And by all things, ISHහැ is Zimbabwean. I think if people want to know who ISHහැ is, just go to Zimbabwe.
That's a nice one. But take us through the journey. How much music have you produced so far, and at what stage did the journey start?
Wow. So I think I've been making music my whole life, really singing more so my whole life. I started making music really around 2017. Really around 2017, that's when I started to record. That's when I made my first single, which was amazing. I mean, that whole experience was amazing. And then, you know, you get to now 18, 19, that's when you start putting out singles onto Apple Music and all of that. So it's really been a 4 year long journey of making music. But this was the first 4 songs I've put out as ISHහැ I made within the last two years, maybe. You know, Looking for You Now, Control, and To Be Honest, and When I Come Through were all made in the span of 2 years and then released only recently. So yeah, that's really the journey of ISHහැ in terms of how it came to be. But you know, there was a whole other period before that. You know, you didn't really know where you were going. You know, and I put out a couple of songs before, but these songs now are reflection of who ISHහැ is for sure as an artist.
Great. These songs being a reflection of who ISHහැ is right now. But what feeds your imagination? Because I look at the sound that you're making, it's something that I find quite strikingly unique. It must be coming from somewhere. Where do you draw the melody, the vibe, and the style of music that you make?
You know, like I said before, I think the main place is God. That's my in my faith. I think I draw all of that from him. He you know whisper. He sends his angels and they whisper in my ear and they're like, just do this, or they'll sing a melody and I'll be like, okay, I got you. And even more so, I think with the inspiration I draw musically, that's a lot of R&B, a lot of hip hop. I think the video is case in point to two main people really for me, Michael Jackson and The Weeknd. Um, I think you also then get your guys like Hugh Masekela, who is breaking boundaries with jazz music. Of course, the late great, someone who I would not be here if not for him, Sekuru Oliver Mutukudzi, you know, Fela Kuti as well. These are guys who I get a lot of my musical confidence to break barriers, you know, and to do these videos like this where no one would expect this from an R&B song. You know, blood, hot, you know, kind of sci-fi stuff, you know, that's very confusing. No one would really expect that. And that for me was something I really wanted to do is even more so tell a story. Because this video is, you know, even in this part that you're watching now, I mean, no one really knows now what's happening. It just ends. But it ends with such an abrupt ending, you know, and such a cliffhanger. And that in itself was mostly from movies, you know, that I watch. I love movies. But 100%, the inspiration comes from a lot of different people from all different parts of the world. So yeah.
Great, great. Inspiration coming from all parts of the world. You mentioned, you know, breaking boundaries, which I'm going to talk about a bit later. But let's talk about this specific music video, Looking for You. The story behind, is it something that was personal to you, or it's purely fiction that you put up together to make a beautiful piece?
It's fiction. I mean, the video itself is fiction. I mean, and I'd be lying to you if I said this was the part one, because this is the way it works is this is one part of the story. The book, the way I like to call it, the book of ISHÄ. And this is the first, I guess, installment of part one, which is before I was ISHÄ, you know, and that's been really powerful for me because, you know, you find yourself, you know, trying to make these ideas for videos. And then I stumbled upon this one, which was purely imagination. And I was drawing upon the idea of looking for you now. You know, in the video, it starts with me limping and you're seeing a lot of these cutbacks and flashes of another time that's not there. And the video almost goes backwards, you know, and then starts at the end, and then ends with the ending. But it's because I wanted to get that idea of, okay, when you gain something, when you find that person that you feel is your person, you sometimes take that for granted, you know, and then taking that for granted when they then leave, or when you then maybe lose yourself and leave, you're looking for them now. You don't want them to leave. And in this video, I did it quite intensely where she gets taken away from me. Or I
Yes.
don't know. You know, you know, not to spoil anything, but she gets taken away from me, you know, and
Yes.
this whole video, I'm now recalling her presence and how important she was to me, you know, when, you know, that second verse where, you know, I'm tied up in the chair, that's me
Yes.
talking to her, you know, you know, it's also me, you know, asking these questions of where are you, you know, and even deeper than that, this is also a little case in point, like all my songs, my relationship with God, you know, relationship with
Yes.
who He is, you know, and where is He? Because sometimes we lose Him in our faith, whether it be whatever faith you choose to follow, we sometimes waver in our belief or in our trust, and we're like, we're looking for you, we feel you, and we felt you so hard, but like I can't see you anymore. So it's that idea of I'm looking constantly. So yeah.
Great, great, great. And you know what? I couldn't resist the thought of, the conversation that is constantly taking place within Zimbabwe and within the Zimbabwean space, where people are talking about breaking the borders. You are based in New York, but you still continue to make music that is also relatable to home, but has a very broader international appeal. What's your take on Zimbabwe music making it on the international scene? Do you think we are there? Do you think we are somewhere closer, or
We
is it
are in
already
a
happening?
very we are in a very, very exciting place in the Zimbabwean music industry. We're at the beginnings of its rise to the international stage. And that's being led by Holy Ten, Sun, Denham Woods, Hannah, myself, Masimba, all these kids that were putting us on. Gemma, we're doing our thing. Chengeto, Pentafresco, we're doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's a journey. But I think we should focus on Zimbabwe first and also Push, listen to his new album. Um, we are on a wave that is very similar to where I would say LA was when NWA was coming up, where the rap game was now beginning to build and grow in America. That's where we are right now in Zimbabwe. And it's a very exciting time. It's very exciting to be an artist amongst a lot of the rappers because I think that's what's really going to be characteristic of the industry right now is our hip hop. And we're definitely going to break that international barrier. It's a matter of when. And I'm not too concerned about that because it's not even a matter of when we're going to get to them. It's a matter of when they will realize they need to be listening to Zimbabwe, because we're doing it completely different to anyone on the continent, in my opinion. We we're not necessarily too. We have our Afrobeats guys, we have
Yeah.
our hip hop guys, we have our R&B guys, and we have completely other. We have alternative as well. We have so many different walks and genres, and people breaking barriers of genres that it's too loud to ignore. We're gonna make too much noise. That's something that's gonna happen. We are gonna break these barriers. We're gonna get there. It's just a matter of when, and I'm excited for it. I think we're closer than we think as well. I mean, especially for myself, when I am here, I work very, very hard to put my guys on in Zimbabwe. I'm a
Yeah.
big Denham Woods fan. I'm a big Push fan. I'm a
Yes.
big Sun fan. I play their music constantly. Holy Ten is our guy. That's the people's champ. You know,
Wow.
that's that's our guy. And I put him on in America because people need to hear these kids. They need to hear what they have to say because it's good music and it's dope. It's so, I mean, 20s, you may not understand, in America, guys may not understand what he's saying, but they feel it. They hear what he's
Yeah.
saying because it's so deep and it's so to him. And that's just characteristic, I think, of, hip hop in Zimbabwe. Is It's now starting to gain a personality. We are
Yeah.
we are dope. We have some
That's
dope
true.
MCs and some great producers, some incredible producers. So yeah, I mean it's exciting to see what we're going to do, and I think we should more focus on not just international, but Africa, the continent. Focus on Africa first, well, Zimbabwe first, then Africa, then the rest of the world will hear us.
Wow, great. So before I give my response there, I'm just going to pick a comment that's coming through from Stewie Les Savage. He says, "It's my first time hearing about you and I'm wondering why, because I think you're someone worth following. I'll check out your content and hopefully I'll love it. Thanks a lot." Okay, great. This is something quite interesting because you raise a very interesting narrative with regard to the shift that's happening within the Zimbabwean music landscape. And some of the artists that you
Mm,
mentioned, these are artists that I also follow and I
mm,
think are amazingly talented, and the quality of content that they're putting out is brilliant. But maybe apart from Holy Ten,
mm.
do you feel that Zimbabwe is ready for this? Do you feel that Zimbabwe is giving enough appreciation and attention towards the new crop of artists that are putting out amazing content versus hype?
You know, that's a great question. And I think Zimbabwe, it's not a case of if Zimbabwe is ready. It's a case as if they're willing to accept it, because the music we're making is not Zimbabwean. It's not inherently Zimbabwean or traditional. It's not at all, despite having Shona in certain songs and making videos in Zimbabwe. These are not traditionally Zimbabwean songs with Zimbabwe music, I guess, styles.
Yeah,
And that's going to take time. Zimbabwe, I guess the wider Zimbabwe, or the people who are in the higher echelons, who can actually make a
afford.
positive, and afford to do it. All the people in the industry, they're still a little bit abrasive to it. They're still a bit like, you ons are doing a lot. You ons are doing a span. And I think even still, like, that will take time. That will take time to, but I'm for sure in the mindset that we'll definitely be ready. Would they? I think it's even more so the kids in Zimbabwe. I get so much love from kids in Zimbabwe, and I know my friends like in Denim, and they get love as well because they're so intent on putting us on. They're so intent on making sure the world hears us, and they are ready for it. They are ready for us to be in the same conversations as WizKid and Burna Boy, as Davido. They're ready for that. They're very much so ready for that. And I think it's going to be a matter of time, and a matter of us, presenting our music.
Wow. Tell you what, you're the first artist that I've spoken to who is uh, clearly, explicitly and convincingly given sort of a narrative in this, like on the state of Zimbabwean music, especially new voices, new artists, because I feel there is a wave that is coming. Because some of the names that you mentioned, there's you, there's Push, there's Holy Ten, there's Danny Moods, and so many other artists that are doing amazing, that are bubbling under. And one day we're going to wake up with this new tide on us, and the world is going to vibe to that. Yeah, 5 years
And
from
and
yeah,
And sorry, just to say, and I mean, what's a lot of what people will do, is they'll start to say, "Oh, like you gotta go head to head. Oh, you did this. It's Sun, it's Holy Ten versus Denim, it's Push versus ISHÄ." We are all on the same team.
and you guys
We are
vibe.
all on this, and we vibe. I messaged Push, I messaged Denim. I've tried to get in touch with Holy Ten. That man is is a superstar, so I don't even blame him. But we're all homies. This is I have love for these guys. Because for me, if their project is doing numbers and mine is not, I could care less. Because if they're doing numbers, that means people are listening to Zimbabwe. And outwardly that will impact Zimbabwe. So that's a goal of mine. I could care less. As long as people are loving the music and hearing it and understanding that this is from Zimbabwe, that's amazing. You know? And that's what I really want to encourage with a lot of the artists in Zimbabwe is healthy competition is good. But let's remember we're on the same team.
We're not
You know,
against
we
each other.
we're not against each other at all, and it should never be like that because that's what happens. When you go to the States or you go to the UK, it becomes rivals. You know, artists never do shows together because there's too much rivalry. You know, I cannot wait to play National Stadium and bring Holy Ten on to do Bojangu. I cannot wait for that. That's a dream of mine. And that's something that's so important. And even look at the young artists, Alfred Tembo.
Yes.
There's a young lady named Inga Chikuni. She is so good. She is so good. She's gonna touch your guys' hearts like how we've been touched by Patti LaBelle, how we've been touched by, Adele. That's Inga.
Wow.
Inga's incredible, and people don't even know that. But you just gotta listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. If you had a chance to change something within the Zimbabwean music space, just one thing, what would it be?
Change?
Yes.
I would add. I would more so add. I think changing things is I think the Zimbabwe music industry right now, it's not in a place where it needs necessarily change, but it needs additives. It needs things that build it rather than change it, you know? Because when you build things, that will incorporate change, that will promote change, regardless. When you add industry, we need studios. We need state of the art studios that artists can get access to whenever and however, and that are affordable. You know, we need agencies. We need good agencies that are able to promote these artists and get them into spaces where they can be heard all over the world. You know, we need more venues to perform. You know, we need stages. They don't even have to be big. We just need to get back to, there was a time my music teacher and I call her Tete, but she's one of the most important people to me, Bernie Henderson. She used to speak of the fact that there used to be clubs all over Zimbabwe where they used to just come, bands would go play. I can't remember the names, but bands would just come every weekend and play and would blow out these crowds, sell
Wow.
out. We need more of that. We need to have places where these artists can go and be celebrated. Kids like Paint a Fresco.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went to his album release, Painting Strokes. Go listen to that.
He's dope. I checked it
He's
out.
so cool. He's so cool. He's so dope. One of my lifelong friends.
Wow.
And I went there and I was saying, when I went to the listening party, it was to me, we need to have more of that. We need to have venues where kids can go and release their albums, you know? That's what we need to add. And that comes with time, but that also comes with investment by people in Zimbabwe into their kids. Because as much as we taking on education and we're doing that, we love education, invest in us as well. Invest in our passions. Because just because we choose not to be doctors doesn't make us less valuable to Zimbabwe, you know, because we cultivate and we organize creation and what people are hearing. And if you are supporting us, we're going to support you. And even if you don't support us, we're still going to support you because that's what we do as artists, you know?
Wow.
So
That
yeah,
is
that's what I think we
profound.
need.
That is so profound because you bring in a very interesting shift there that it's not necessarily changing that things that is needed. There's so much that is needed more than just to say we're changing this and then we're putting this in place. Yeah. On your playlist right now, you've mentioned these artists. Are those the artists on your playlist?
I'm so bad with playlists, man. You know, I love listening to albums. I will say though, when I wake up in the morning, if I normally walk, because I tore my Achilles last October, so I do a lot of walking now. Or when I go to the gym, or when I'm just feeling in a good mood, I'm listening to Twenties.
Yeah.
I'm listening Twenties by Sun.
I
I'm
love
listening
it.
to Bojangu. I'll
Yeah.
be in the street like where I'll be in New York. I'll be walking, and like I'll have them. I'll be like Bojangu, and like the people will be looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'll just be vibing to Holy Ten. I listen to a bit of Hannah. Um, I got all of Dirty Corolla music, the whole
Yeah.
the whole mixtape, specifically 5 a.m.
Great.
And I really like 5 a.m. I love I think it's peanut butter and green supremes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a lot about, but also in my playlist, I have a lot of old school stuff. I have a
Great.
lot of stuff from America, a lot of alternate. Like I like listening to um, very strange. I like certain parts of country music. I think there's beautiful songs in there. But right now in my playlist, I'm listening to a lot of Summer Walker, a lot of Kelani, uh, Her,
Yeah.
Division. Going back a little bit, I'm listening to a lot of LL Cool J. I'm
Wow.
listening to Tupac a lot, actually. Bob Marley. I think even more recently, just because of Independence Day. I don't know if you probably know, but Bob Marley performed at our
Yeah.
like our
Yeah.
first
Yeah. I do.
Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
And I've just been listening to a lot of his music, and it's so powerful what he was able to do with that. And that's what I want to do as Ishe, where separated from everything else. I want Isha to be an idea rather than a person, because that allows people to buy into it,
Yeah.
and use it to fuel them if they need it, but then get closer to when they listen to my music, they're going to hear and they're going to be like, oh, this is about a girl. No, it's really about my relationship with God and what he's done in my life, how I'm experiencing life with other people. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean, my playlist is a lot. My playlist is very diverse, I like a lot of different music.
Wow, great. This is quite interesting because you have a rich playlist, which doesn't just look at the current, but you also are listening to some of the old school, which I feel some of the younger artists possibly are oblivious of. And I think it speaks volumes because when I listen to your music, you can actually pick some of these elements. You pick that sort of depth. Yeah. Wow, it's been awesome. It's been great speaking to you, man. What are we expecting from you anytime soon?
So, I've been very quiet and I don't normally talk too much about, what I'm doing because I like it to be a bit mysterious. But right now, just on earGROUND, I'm working on a project right now. It's an 8-song mixtape
Great.
about right now. It's hopefully going to be out this year. We're going to work very hard to put it out this year. And if not, it's going to be next year. But it's going to be a great project. Also, just working on a lot of new features. Look out for Masimba coming out soon, Ray Kaz, working with these great, great rappers. And I'm just looking forward to it. And Plot, thank you so much for having me. It's an
Thanks a
honor,
lot.
honestly. As I was like watching the intros, I was vibing to the earGROUND intros. This is, and I want
Thanks
to
a
be
lot.
able to say this on air while you're here. You guys are doing so amazing. This is what we need. This platform, not just for us but for you guys. You guys are doing so much. You're showing Zimbabweans that, oh yeah, we're not just play. No, we can compete on the level of a complex. We can compete on the level of a bleacher, whatever you want. And this is that. And it's just a blessing that you guys have shown so much love to me. So thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. That's quite encouraging to hear. For us, this is the sort of feedback that gives us the fuel to continue doing what we're doing. And also to the team that I'm working with in Zim and across the world. Thank you so much, guys, for making this possible. And thank you so much. I really appreciate. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say shout out to also for the video. Shout out to Domain Studios, Rowanen. Shout out to
Great.
you, my man. He's a great, great director, great, great videographer.
He's in
And
Zim.
he's in Zim. He's in Zim.
Oh,
He
wow.
directed the video. He directed. He's
Wow.
he's 20. He's 19. He directed
Oh, man.
and edited the video. So I co-directed with him, and I wrote the script, but he brought it to life. He did all of that, and he's
This is
19.
mind-blowing. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's in Zimbabwe. So wake up, guys.
Wow, you have heard it. This was the works of a 19-year-old together with ISHÄ, and they produced something magical. So until next time, stay tuned to earGROUND. I'm going to play one more snippet. I know I've been showing you some of the visuals during the interview, but I'm just going to play a bit of the video, and then we end the conversation. Until next time, thank you so much, ISHÄ. We hope to catch up
Thank
with
you
you
so much, Plot.
when you drop your next project.
Please.
You're most welcome.
You've shut me down, so please don't go. I was just saying, my body can take it. My heart, you won't break it. With the games you're playing, others have come before and